Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. We are your hosts. I'm Deborah Grenard, and we also have with us Kamala Wadad and Habiba Miller. And we are honored to have you here with us today. We're very grateful that you've taken this time to join us. We know that this is a time of turbulence and chaos and a lot of unknowns going on in our world right now at really rapid fire, causing a lot of insecurity questions. What the heck am I supposed to do with this? It's just, it seems like no matter where, like, how your beliefs align or what your preferences or any of that, where they fall, that things are just, there's oh boy, it's a difficult time. I think it's a difficult time for all of us. And I know a lot of us have come into that place of, I live in this place with my family and my family believes differently from me. And I'm caught in all this turmoil and conflict and I don't have anyone to talk to. And I'm hearing that from a lot of people. And it's it's a difficult time. And the last thing, like, we didn't put this together as a pro something or anti something. We put this together as a space, and our intention is to make a space where we can come together, acknowledge that we have different viewpoints if that is the case, and really find this is accessing the stillness beneath the turbulent waters. Like, where is that place underneath it all that we can drop into? We can find our center, that we can find that place in the heart where we can all connect. I think in a lot of cases, I think in most cases, that right now our country and our world is being divided into camps. And there's kind of, depending on where you get your information or what you may have clicked on in social media, one camp is getting a very different picture and a very different reality from the other camp. And that's, I think that is the most heartbreaking thing, is our knowing what to believe, knowing what to trust, and this pull to align with this one or align with that one. Because if we can let go of our need to identify with one or another and just really drop into, wait a minute, who am I? What is in my heart? What do I believe? Where do I want to align my values? What is my truth? I think we can find that no matter which direction you're looking, there is truth in each one and there is false in each one. And I think, if we can somewhat stay disconnected from this or that and just be with what is true for me, what aligns with my values, what aligns with the things that I care about, this is where we can most readily be into that place of stillness inside, the place of, that at the core that aligns with your value system, the knowing that you have inside of you, your connection with the all that is, and your ability to think in the moment for yourself rather than be pulled, and act for the greater good. And that's the space that we're hoping to create today. And the spirit, we want to make space for everyone to share. And I think all of us, kind of were like, so we were inviting people, saying, that voice was going off in the head saying, well, we don't want to create conflict. So is it okay to just broadcast it out for everyone? And we decided, yes, we're going to broadcast it out and see, and trust and see what shows up and find the way to, like we said, find the deeper place in all of us, the deeper place of love, compassion, the caring, the authenticity, sincerity that won't be divided into one camp or another camp. So, in the spirit of unity, let's come into a circle. Let's imagine us in our virtual space here, all coming into one circle, sitting together side by side, like shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. And just imagine us in one circle. The space for those who will come and go throughout this time together. And just, if you will, bring your attention, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your focus, all your senses to face toward the center of the circle. And let's really acknowledge the space that we share. And let's bring our hearts also to face the center, where our hearts can come together in the center and join as one heart. And we just call on that pure divine light to stream in and fill the space and touch our hearts. And as you breathe, just imagine breathing in this pure light. Light is purifying, the light is cleansing, and the light is illuminating. Just breathe in that pure light. And as you exhale, if it feels right for you, just let anything that is hanging out in your conscious body that is creating that divisiveness. I think we're all it's hard to not be touched by it right now. Just let that be cleansed as you exhale. And let that pure divine light just infuse into your energy body, your subtle body, into your heart space, and into your physical body as well. And let's just call on that essence of unconditional love. Love that knows no conditions. Love is love is love is love is love. And all that love knows how to do is love. Love loves loving. And love loves. It doesn't care about the conditions we put on our world or our existence or ourselves, or on whether or not we're valuable enough to receive love, or right or wrong, or in the right place to receive love. Love is love. Just let this love pour into the center of our circle. And again, let your heart center be like a breathing portal, and just breathe in through your heart and take that unconditional love and pure divine light into your body, into your heart space. And as you exhale, just let go of any of the tension or coats of armor that we put over our heart space to protect us. As you can, just let those relax and settle into a safe space. And we call on the eternal compassion, the compassion that is the soup that we swim in, the ocean of living consciousness, the breath that breathes us. And as you breathe in that unconditional love and divine light, as you exhale, just let yourself rest into this ocean of compassion, and let yourself be held in a space of safety, of connection, of nurturing, of caring, of pure acceptance. And we can set an intention that we continue to breathe in that pure divine light and unconditional love, and rest into that eternal compassion. Just let your whole body be like a sponge. As you rest into that ocean of compassion, and let it just be absorbed into all of your cells until you're completely saturated and satiated with the eternal compassion. Wadad is going to kick us off today with some questions. So if you have a pen and paper, grab your pen and paper, and hopefully you can do that without getting out of this space. I just might want to write a few things down, take some notes as we go along. And then there will be time for sharing as well.
Welcome, dear ones. It's so wonderful to see you all here. I was imagining all of us in the circle as if we were in person, and how wonderful it is when you are in that circle that to just reach out and hug your brothers and sisters with you. So I was imagining that with all of you. And as a side note, Mastura, we need to make a meme of you with your wonderful Texan accent saying love is love is love is love. Love, 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 love. And we can just play that all the time. That was the best. It was the best.
Recording, I can pull that out.
Love is love is love. Amen. So, as we were just led into this well of peace and stillness, this is sort of the theme of tonight. And we wanted to have this be interactive in a way so that when you leave, you have some more tools of resiliency when the inevitable is going to come up, and the struggles that you have in your life that are current or the struggles that might be ongoing. The first question, we have 3 questions for you. You can contemplate them as we go through tonight's call, and then we're going to have a time for you to share with the group if you want to share some of your answers. So you have time to answer this or answer these. So the first question is, what do you do to connect to the stillness within you? So we were just led through this gorgeous meditation. So maybe it's meditation. I have somebody who, when stress hits, they have to garden. I have another friend, when stress hits, she bakes or she cooks meals. It could be anything. Like, what helps you drop in to that stillness and find that breath, that sigh out? And there might be multiple answers to that. So that's the first one, is how do you access those places? The second question, and I will put these in the chat so that if you forget them and you want to contemplate and answer them. The second question is, do you have a support system that helps you get to that place? And this is more like, who are the people in your life that help you access that place? It could be a therapist, it could be friends, it could be a spiritual teacher, it could be a coach, it could be a family. It could be your beloveds, like if you have partners in your life, a spouse, but just like, who are the people that come up for you that are the ones that hold that force that allows you to drop in? And then the third question is, how often are you dropping into your stillness? So when you think of all the ways that you are supported doing that, is this a daily thing? Is this a weekly thing? Is this something you tap into multiple times a day? So just think about, like, for me, some of my go-to thing is like an Epsom salts bath with candles. And I sometimes think, like, I should do that more. But there might be multiple streams that help you connect. So just checking in and seeing, how often are you checking into that? And so each of us are going to also answer that question to kind of get that flowing for you, maybe inspire you to see, like, oh, I have that answer too. There's no right or wrong to this, but we will open it up for us to discuss that later on, because somebody might have a really great tool that could be good for you, or a great way that they tap in, or there might be a theme of how often we tap in or how often we don't tap in that could help us during these times. So with that, I'm going to pop those questions into the chat for you to come back to, and I'm going to hand it over to Habiba to share with us, like, how do you do this, darling?
Well, it's interesting because I am learning so much about myself right now. I've been through a lot of life change recently. And so it's changing for me, which is fun because I'm discovering new ways. I'm also discovering a lot about myself. I was thinking about this before the call. I had a little heads up on these questions, right? So anyway, but I was thinking about the fact that, like, I've always been sensitive. And, as a child was often labeled as too sensitive. But I also teach music and I'm around kids a lot and they pick up everything. And so like they come in and I teach like rock bands. So these kids come in with all this energy, right? And getting them to still enough to be able to focus on what we're doing. So I apply some of these things in the work that I do too, but it also has been a reflection for me of, well, how do I do this? Right? Because music is actually one of those things that really helps me. So I don't remember where I saw it, but there's this quote somewhere that talks about music as my best friend because whether I'm sad or happy or angry or whatever, music is always there. I can always find something that's going to match my mood, right? And so depending on where I am and what I'm feeling and I'm wanting to either integrate or release, I might choose different music, movement to go with that. Sometimes I live alone, so I can turn on the music and act like a fool and move my body however I want to. And sometimes that release is really important for me so that I can get to the still point. So, because I'm so sensitive and because I'm very empathic when I'm around people, I pick up on a lot of feelings. So sometimes when I get home, it's like I need to shake it off and then I can sit and get quiet. And sometimes I don't sit and get quiet. Sometimes I just release, but what I find is that in allowing myself that release, it opens up the space for me to be able to be still. When I reach that point, breath is huge for me. Like I can be in the middle of anything, and if I will just stop and take a deep breath, and for me, there's a visualization that goes with that. Yeah, I saw that with Dot. It's like take one right now. Because, and that's the one, so like the music and dance thing is an occasional, and I probably could do that more, but the breath thing, I can't even tell you how many times a day. I can be in the kitchen cooking and be like, wow, I'm really not breathing very deeply right now, and so just take a moment and bring it all the way through. And I was sharing with Mr. and Wadad, Deborah and Wadad, that I had a dream a dream the other night where I was long story short is I had written a song called Willful Toes. And the message in it for me was to bring it all the way into my toes because I've had this realization that I've been dancing around the outside and tapping into my soul and tapping into my heart, but I haven't really been allowing myself go there because my mom, who was my deepest support and greatest companion, passed about a year and a half ago, not even a year and a couple months. And I wasn't allowing myself to really go in because when I go there, the grief is huge. It's like my greatest companion's not here to share all this with, right? So it wasn't a conscious thing. It was more like realization of late. So even within this past week, part of what I'm doing is, okay, take it all the way into my toes, like let it come all the way through. And the beauty of that is that in allowing myself to do that and to feel the grief and to let myself cry and to let those things move, my mom's been coming in very vividly in dreams and other things. So like it's like I've been almost blocking the presence because I was so afraid of feeling the feelings. So for me, that breath is just huge. And the visualization, and I actually had this come up when we were doing the opening thing, the visualization that I often use. Hearing my niece say visualization, because when she was little, that was the way she said the word when I would talk to her about doing this. But I there's a visualization that I use where I'm connecting all the way up in the to the highest heavens as far as I can go with a pillar of light, and then all the way down into the core of the earth. And it's a pillar of light, but in that, as I'm breathing, I'm also surrounding myself. So I see, I think what they call a torus, where the energy is going out and this flow of energy is happening. So as I was picturing us as a group tonight, with us in a circle and our hearts in the middle, that's what I was picturing, was this torus that was encompassing all of us and connecting us into the heavens and all the way into the earth. And for me, that visualization is really important to helping me really get into that still point where everything else kind of disappears. And so, and then when I'm in that place, then I can come into the world and face, you know, the personal challenges or the worldly crap that's going on or whatever else from a centered place, so that I'm not in the reaction to everything, but I'm in that. And then, as you were saying, with that place of, okay, how do I want to be with or respond to, or maybe it was Mr. It's like I'm in an empowered position so that I can come into my life from a deeper place. Um, yeah, and I know there are other tools, but for the moment, that's what's coming through. So that's my share. Thank you.
Deborah, darling, would you like to share yours?
Sure, sure. So, wow, it's an interesting time for me because I lived most of my adult life with no television, pretty much unplugged. I would wake up for like decades, actually, for, good probably 20, 25 years. Every morning at like 4 a.m., I would do my meditation from 4 to 6. Then I would just check and see what's on my calendar for the day. I'd go do the still meditation, then go do a hardcore workout and, go for a run and go like get really physical, come back, have my smoothie and be raring to go for the day. And, that kept me in such a place of just feeling connected, feeling strong, feeling so healthy. And over the last 8 years ago, I moved in with my father, who he's 102 now, but at that time, 8 years ago, he just supposedly had 1 year to live. And so I moved in to care for him, and we're still here 8 years later. But it's been, as Ram Dass says, if you think you're enlightened, go home to your family, right? And so it's been an interesting time because his companion is the television. And the television is on from 7 a.m. until midnight, literally every day. And so it's, and with him, he's up and down all night and all hours and everything. So sleep is a luxury. And, that's not always realized. So my routine has really been shaken. And I find that accessing that place takes a lot more work now. It really does. And I'm like and I am totally sucked into all the politics and all of the emotions that it's stirring up, and, and all of my family issues on top of it, and how everybody's being affected by blah, 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 blah. So I'm really finding a way to be with my emotions when I can't always access that place in my heart. And sometimes I have to say, okay, this is really making me angry right now, and just like let it be and like find a way to do the best I can, even though I'm not in a place where, I can't just walk out the door and go for a run. I can't, I don't have I can't, I pretty much can't leave the house unless somebody's here to, take care. And so it's, a very, I'm having to find new ways. And I think probably the beauty of it, if I dare say, is that I am experiencing my emotions in new ways and the intensity of them. And, whether it's the anger or the fear or the sadness or the distress or the joy, and and finding that place of, okay, I am in a place right now with family. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food. I've got, like in a healthy space. And I've got to just be grateful for this right now and stay in the moment, because I find if I start thinking too far ahead and the what ifs and the what ifs and the what ifs, and it's, kind of hard to even imagine the what ifs. And if you know, there's so much coming so rapid fire fast, and things are the changes and the uncertainty about what's what from minute to minute, that it's really easy to get ramped up and caught in that and go into fear. But if I can say, okay, wait a minute, be in the moment, because we have no idea what the next minute is going to hold. Right now, I am safe. Right now, I am provided for. Right now, I am cared for. Right now, I have what I need, and I can breathe, find that place of breath and just I've got all of my practices that I know how to do. It's harder to access that place right now. We'll be completely honest about that. And, being around family that doesn't have those kind of practices, or even that kind of belief system, like I've had with the meditation and the physical exercise and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's not a part of their life at all. It's completely foreign to them. And I'm really in the family space, and the one who's always been different, and the one that's always been too sensitive, and the one that's all of those things. And so I can share in some of the emotions with my family, but not all of them, and certainly not the spirituality of it or the realizations of it. So, it's one of the things I've done is find these two, and Habiba and Wadad, who we've known each other for decades, and it's like 25, close to 30 years now that we've known each other, which is quite a blessing. And I know several of you on the call that I connect with on a regular basis too, and I'm very grateful to have you in my life as well. But there's a lot to be grateful for, and reminding myself to stay in the moment, I think, are probably the biggest things right now. And knowing that, also, I'll just say one more, knowing that the truth that I can access in myself, that connects me to that place of my own integrity. And I don't mean this to sound like doomsday or anything like that, but we're all going to leave this planet at some time. And, I've had really good friends that have believed in different things, and kind of that I didn't agree with. What my feeling is that regardless of what happens on this planet, if the whole thing self-destructs tomorrow, I want to be connected to the place in my heart where I feel in the highest integrity and the deepest sincerity and the most aligned with what I've come here to believe and to do. Because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I could walk outside and, who knows, right? All kinds of things. I might not be here tomorrow, but that's true for all of us. So just got to remember that on the day to day. Where do I want to be, and how do I want to be when I leave this planet? And that helps me as well.
It's so beautiful. I love the reminder of being present. That can do so much. Just that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll share really quick in a way that hopefully this is starting some inspiration for everybody. Maybe you're getting some extra ideas of what can work for you. I was thinking, as both of you are talking about these old proverbs that I am totally going to murder, but one of them is if you want to make tea, you got to pour hot water on that tea. And I was reminded that like when things get intense for me, that's when I really start to cling to whatever it is that works. And I teach voice, so I say this to my students all the time. You're going to have 5 days a year that are your best days vocally, and every other day you're going to be working through allergies and inflammation, and you are sick and your sinuses are stuffed up. And so we have tools of resiliency that help us. And I agree with Habiba, music and singing. But another one I've discovered later in my life is fasting. If I start to feel like, I just have a day where I just water fast, like I just drink water, and I'll kind of start with my evening meal so I can get to that like 12-hour mark, the next day, and most of it's while I'm sleeping. And that has really helped me a lot. But I noticed, like, I'm a performing songwriter, so I started to notice when stress started to hit, I wanted to reach for my guitar and sing, or I wanted to reach and write a song, or put it in poetry, or writing, or morning pages. And so for a lot of us, if you've grown up with any kind of trauma, you probably have an arsenal. And it might be something that worked at a certain point in your life, and then you shifted, like Habiba, you were saying, like it's changed. I just want to encourage everyone to honor the changes. If right now your tools of finding peace is reaching out to your team of people, like your soul family, honor that. If that's what it is, if you've got a practice or a meditation or exercise, and I want to hear about them. My daughter likes to bake, and so I hate it sometimes. I'm like, oh, you're stressed, but thank you. I'll have that lemon meringue pie. But I also met some sisters in my Sufi community that dance. I did not realize how much dance, with the Zoom camera off, just going to throw that in there. So I could get weird and awkward and just like move my body, walking, that kind of stuff. And also being able to talk to somebody. So when I asked the second question, like, who are your people? That has always been huge for me. Depending on the kind of brain you have, if it's estrogen influenced brain, you need to empty the bucket. Science has figured out that if we hold too much in our minds, like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this, and there's not my to-do list. Oh, I can't forget to call that person. That then when stress starts to hit in your life, those turbulent waters, you have to have somebody to just go blah, 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 blah. And in that, I started a conversation with some of my friends, the closest people I turn to. So you can use this tool if it works for you. When you're talking to those people, you can say, I just want comfort. I don't want solutions. Or I want solutions, but I need comfort first. And so I use this with some of my friends. When they're emptying the bucket, I'll ask them, like, do you want comfort or do you want solutions? So that I can kind of check in and see, like, do I just need to listen and say yes, 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 and just let that person empty the bucket? And then, like, the amount of times that I check in, I pray 5 times a day, but sometimes it's more. Like I have a couch right next to me, and I've always had them in my studios for voice. If I get a free moment, I just lay down, close my eyes and breathe. And I just listen. It's like my way of getting present. But when the turbulence gets more intense, I turn to these things more often. And so I've got the big things like an Epsom salts bath, and I got the little things where I'm just like kind of sitting and being quiet. So yeah, hopefully between all 3 of us, maybe you got some new ideas, and I really would love to hear other ideas that people have. And if you have a system of connection, if you don't, I encourage you to join us as often as we offer this, to hopefully create some community for anybody who might be feeling disconnected or alone, or you just need a space to bask in this love. And hopefully we're creating lots of love for you, and hopefully a space to share and empty that bucket a little bit, or to just have a way to create some stronger community, because we know how easy it is in our world right now for us to get disconnected. So we're hoping that you have that support. All right. I'm going to hand it off to Deborah Mester so you can take us to our next place.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Wadada. I really appreciate what you said about, being clear about what we need when we need to empty, whether we need to empty the bucket or whether we're looking for solutions. And I think, that's, it's like we need that. And when we need to empty and when we're needing to empty the bucket, if you've ever been in that place where you just need to, like, a space to unload and somebody's there trying to say, oh, it'll be okay, it'll da, 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 and trying to fix or trying to provide solutions or trying to stop you. It's just like, it can't, it's, you end up still holding it a lot of times. Right. And so just to have that, a person who can understand that this is a moment of bucket emptying, and this is a moment of, where I'm coming for help, support, advice. So do we want to go ahead and perhaps open up for some sharing now? And just if anybody wants to share anything, and you can let us know whether you're just sharing. I'll offer at least 3 things you can let us know. And of course, that's what's on your heart. But, if you're needing to empty your bucket and needing a place to be held, we've got a container here that is filled with light and love and compassion. And love is love is love is love is love is love is love. And love knows how to love. So that's a space that, that just like empty it into the love bucket. We can hold that love bucket and just hold your heart and give you a space to free yourself. And I'll invite you as best you can, if you are in the, I need to empty the bucket right now, and if you let us know that, and as you empty, let it go. And just a couple of things I think to help us to keep it peaceful is to speak from your own heart and your own experience. And it's a time where we can certainly go into blame and, calling out faults of others. That's kind of what I know I'm immersed in all day here with the television on and the news playing. There's a lot of that. But if you can be from the place of, this is what's on my heart, this is what I feel, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I need, and be with your own experience of it, that'll help us to, it'll help you to really empty out and have the satisfaction, I think, of releasing. So if you would like to speak, you're welcome to raise your hand and we can bring you on. As we said, it's being recorded, but we're not going to share the recording. So it's for our own benefit here, in case one of us says something incredibly brilliant that we want to capture. You never
like
know.
last week where I was like, what did I say? I really want to know what I said.
Mester, can you tell people how to raise their hands in case people are new to this Zoom?
Absolutely. And I said 3 things and then I only listed 1. I listed emptying the bucket. The other one is just sharing what you got with the 3 questions. If you want to share, what your tips and tools are or what you do, then, lots of space for that as well, because we can always learn from each other. And the third thing is, if you're wanting support or advice on something and you want some help. So 3 things there. Are you sharing of your 3 questions of what you do? Are you emptying the bucket, or are you asking for advice? 3 things there. Okay. And to raise your hand, if you hover your mouse, if you're on let's see, I'm not sure on the phone, but if you're on the computer and you hover your mouse down to the bottom of the screen, there's on mine, it says react, a thing that says react, and it's got a heart there. If you click on that, you'll see a raise hand option. And if you raise hand, we'll bring you on screen. If you prefer not to be on screen, you can just say, I don't want to be on screen, and can unmute yourself and say, I just want to share from here, and that's fine too.
I think we have a shy bunch
So,
tonight.
well, I'm reading a direct message here. So
Okay,
if you direct message me and you want to come on screen, you can raise your hand in the way I just expressed, or if you prefer not to, just let me know. Okay, so Kelly, I'm going to bring you on. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You can see my face.
Yeah. Welcome. See your bright, shining smile and eyes.
Yeah, well, thank you. I can relate to a lot of things that have been said already. I am definitely high empath, and sensitive. And actually through this conversation, I realized just more. So I've been doing shadow work and have also been um, walking the journey of EMDR. And that is a pretty involved process that really um, causes you to see all the things inside of you, all the stuff. And one of the things that I have realized is how much of a fixer I am
Mm.
and that I want to be, right? Because I want to help people. And so in my mind, if I'm giving solutions, then I'm helping. And being an empath, though, when someone shares with me, I have had to learn to be empathetic and compassionate without taking on that emotion for myself.
Mhm.
Uh, and I also am learning, still learning, that because if I go into fixer mode right away, then not only is that, you know, not holding space for the other person. So I've learned more how to hold space for the other person. And when I do that and turn off my fixer mode, right? Table that, it helps me to be still too. Because I am not trying to think of solutions and trying to balance my emotions, their emotions, taking on their emotions, just all that chaos that can kind of happen in your mind. And so by holding space for others, it allows me to hold that space for myself in a way that I really didn't realize before. And I do, dance and no social media and just depends on what I need, right? Why do I need the stillness? So walk in nature. I do use Insight Timer for meditations. It's a great app. It's free. Gonna, unsolicited plug. But there are so many great meditations, and one I'm doing now is a guided meditation through a forest. And I really like nature and don't get a chance to get out into it a lot. And art and tea, sometimes I need a nap. Sometimes I need to just cry and throw a little temper tantrum and say out loud, I don't want to be doing this and I hate this and I hate that, and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
Um, Part of EMDR is also establishing a safe, calm place. And so I have a safe, calm place in my mind, and I practice that every single day. Whether
Nice.
I'm minor annoyed, whether I'm just kind of sitting, whenever I feel like I want to be still, or if I'm forgetting and taking a pause, one of the very quick things that I can do is just say to myself, safe, calm place, and go to that place in my mind. And it just helps me to breathe and center. Um, and another thing that I do is that I use another app called Finch, and that it's actually a mental wellness app, and it's a really great community. And I set tasks for my day, and then you can have friends, you can not have friends. That part doesn't really matter as much. Well, for some it might, so I shouldn't say that. But you can have tasks and you can set notifications for those tasks. So
Hmm.
I have set up notifications for drink water. I just started one for a morning stretch and after an evening stretch. And for me, that could be physical, that could be mental, but I get those reminders to take that time. And then I get to, check off the box, which satisfies me too.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, and just a lot of opening my heart to allow the joy. I think, I'm also have a fear of feelings and have realized that it also blocks out the feelings of joy. And so it might be uncomfortable to feel the feelings you don't want to feel, but that also helps me to move through that and allows me to also accept joy. So that's it.
Kelly, that is beautiful. Thank you so much. You've shared some
Thanks.
really good tips with us.
Nice. Thank you, Kenny.
Sure.
So I want to ask you, because I've been sort of taking notes and throwing them into the chat, so that they're there for anybody if they want them. But what is the other app you mentioned besides Finch?
Oh, Finch and then Insight Timer.
Insight Timer. Okay. Throwing them into
Really,
the chat.
I want to witness you. There's so much sincerity that you're sharing, and you've done so much work. It's actually so inspiring. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to share it with us, like what you've been doing and how far you've come. You're reminding me that sometimes it's really just about regulating our nervous systems in all these ways when we get dysregulated. But I just want to honor you. You've done so much work. I can just hear it and I can see it in your face. It's like so
Thank you.
beautiful. So
Thank
thank you.
you. Yeah, because I don't have all my ducks in a row. But living in the moment, I think just helps, to not have to
Absolutely.
worry about that. So, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do you
Thank you,
know
Kelly.
anybody who has all their ducks in a row?
I was just going to say, when you find that person, will you let us know? Invite them to our Wednesday webinar so that they can share. Okay, thank you. I'm going to remove you from the spotlight, Kelly. And Terry, you had your hand up. Did you want to share? I'll bring you on.
There we go.
Yeah, you want to come on?
Sure.
Okay.
Can you see me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you.
Hi. Thank you. I'm relating to everything that everybody's been sharing. And the quote that I read recently about, I don't even think I have my ducks in a row. As a matter of fact, I think one of them's not even a duck. I think it's a chicken. So they're all running around. So anyway, add a little humor in that. I'm relating very much to your inundation with all that's going on and your inability to step away from it because you're in the middle of it. I had been sitting with a family member in December, my mother-in-law, even though I was no longer married to their son, I was still part of the family, and got her to all of her cancer tests and scans. And then we got the call that they wanted her in Santa Barbara on December 26th. And I knew that it must be serious, or they normally take the holidays off. So walked her through that. And then she came home on a hospice and died within another month. And as the universe would have it, I was one of her caregivers, and so was my high school sweetheart that I was no longer married to. So in a way, it was like her death was the opportunity for me to come full circle with this family. And it helped me to know that I made the right choice for me. And he's married and happily married and has children, and I'm grateful for that. But I knew that I made the right choice. And that when things got prickly, I guess. And he was watching TV 24/7. But if he said anything that touched something in me, I had to take myself away and do the care that I needed, the journaling, the coming back to compassion or writing or processing what was going on. And even some of the things, and especially because he's male and very strongly opinionated about women. I don't even know what brought it up. Something he was watching, I guess, but he said the most off the wall thing to me. He said, "You can't rape your wife." Exactly. Your face. I went, "What?" And kind of what brought that up. And rather than not being seen or heard, which would be my way in this relationship, I just kind of said, actually, if you force yourself on someone, that is rape, if that's against her wishes. And he said, well, that's the new definition. So, I mean, there were a few moments of like that were just incredulous to me. But the huge aha that I took, although I did need to go away and sit with that, was I felt owned in every aspect of my life, including my body or my will. And it was that whole comment showed me that that was true. And it's still true. So thank goodness I'd done so much work that I wasn't triggered, but I was shocked. And so I went back in that quiet place and I asked myself, I'm here to hold compassion for his mother. Can I hold it for him too? And I knew that I could. So it was such a gift. And at the end of my time there,
Uh-oh. Terry, I'm not hearing you. Are you all hearing Terry?
We lost her sound.
We lost your sound. It looks like you're unmuted, so I'm not sure what happened there.
maybe I'm not supposed to share that.
She just
There you
froze.
are. You're back. Maybe you had a call coming in or something. It looks like you're on your cell phone.
Yeah.
But,
I am.
yeah. So go ahead, please continue. We can hear you now.
Yeah. So I wanted to speak in my heart and to see what wanted to come forward. At the end of that time, and when I packed up, I had to stop a few times. My heart was pounding and I was so afraid. And I kept saying, what is this? And I had to stop and sit 3 times. It was so strong. And finally, I came back and part of me went, I don't want to go back in the house. Back in there, this energy that I was feeling. And so I went to the front door and the screen was open and I could see all the way across the room. He was in a lounge chair watching TV and I said, I'm done now. I'm gonna go, but there's a card for you on the table. And so that way I was speaking from love and I didn't just leave, even though I wanted to. So when I got in my car and I slammed the door, that heart palpitation and that fear stopped immediately with the connection of the door slamming. And I went, oh my God, what was that? And so I went into the internal inquiry and opened and I got, was that mine? And I got no. And so I said, okay, what was it? And it said unresolved rage. And then I got an impression, a visual impression of this hand that was just trying to consume me. And I held my own, but with no defenses and no aggression. I just stayed, I spoke my truth, and I was gentle and tender. And but when I felt that power, I also got an image that was part of the movie Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you've seen it. Many have. But there's a scene where Gandalf, the wizard, is putting himself between, talk about shadow work, this demon from the depths of the darkness, this huge fiery demon, and he's telling everyone else to run. And so he turns back, and with all of his power, he strikes his staff and he said, "You shall not pass." And then he even gathers and musters more will and says, "You shall not pass." And I went, oh my God, that's exactly the stance that I took, and that I was facing my own demons. And I didn't succumb to that force that wanted to bend my will or cause me as a woman to subjugate herself, who I had always been. So I was practicing staying in compassion and being true to my heart and myself.
That is beautiful, Terry. Thank you so much for sharing. I may say, I think there is a lot of what you shared. You know how we talk about the microcosm of the macrocosm and the individual experience of the, collective consciousness experience. And I think as you were speaking, it's like I was really just kind of taking that in from that place of, the way that it shows up personally and collectively. And what a beautiful share, what a beautiful expression and a beautiful picture that you've shared with us there about that strength. And I love the way that, that you said being in your truth without the defensiveness or the fight, and just is what it is. We say yeah. Like, and this, as we say in some of my classes, I have that place of authenticity and that place of inner strength and that place that, can just be. And Terry, I know you've heard this before. So we say the grass is green, the sky is blue, the sun is bright, and you are you. And when you can get to that place of inner strength and certainty, that is so strong to the point where, if somebody tells you that the sun is not bright, you just whatever, it is. And when you know yourself that well and your strength and your truth, and you can be in it from that place of whatever anybody says, there's no need to fight about it, because you know what you know and you are who you are. And that is what is. And that's all that what is.
Well, and I'd love to add to the gratitude, because you spoke something that was a huge, huge point for me in my journey, especially as, both Kelly and I had talked about being so empathic. That question about, is this me or is this mine, is huge. Huge to be able to go in and say, is this mine? Because I think especially in my younger years, I didn't know what was mine and what wasn't mine. I was just feeling everything. So to be able to ask that question and get clear, like, that's not mine. And then to be able to place that boundary, like, And again, in that place of this is my truth and that's his truth, whatever. Like he's living in whatever world he's living in, and that's not mine. I don't have to deal with that, right? So to be able to draw that boundary is huge. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. A lot of life lessons for us right now.
And I just want to reflect something that stuck out for me too, which could be really valuable for all of us, is that there's so much fighting right now. And in your story, Terry, I was hearing how when we're deeply aligned, we don't have to fight. We can walk away. We can say, okay, thank you. And that symbolism you were saying of you like close the door. We have a very deep teaching and tradition that I've studied that's basically like the best way to neutralize darkness or the is to just ignore it. It's just carry on with your guidance and not fight. So thank you. It was a nice little pin to remind me, like, yeah, what is that saying? Like, you don't have to say yes to every fight that's offered.
You can choose.
Right.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. It in that encapsulating that and coming to that place and then choosing compassion again. I recognize it's helped me in the craziness with other people that have very distinct opinions separate from my own. I don't have to argue. I don't have to convince, and I can choose to engage or not. But to even speak my truth, saying that hearing someone rather than before I didn't want to hear it, just consider that I might feel differently about that. And whether that conversation goes any further or not, it's okay. But at least I'm staying true to myself or not staying silent. And I can still go a compassionate place. So it is like the microcosm and the macrocosm. I do get swept up in the media, and I recognize that's when I can't find center anymore. So I am making a choice to pull back and do more practices.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
it's caught, we can get caught in the swirl. And then I really feel the downward spiral of that it's hard to ascend, and to do those practices of being in the pillar of light when everything's tied up in your heart. But thank you for giving me a place to share. And because I don't have a circle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You do now.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Terry, I'm going to remove you from the spotlight. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
I just want to check in. Amina, did you want to come on and share?
Sure. Alhamdulillah.
Okay. All right. Where'd you go? You disappeared. You were right there.
Oh.
Here you are. I'm going to bring you on. Okay. Welcome.
Thank you. I was late, so I didn't want to just dive on in there.
Dive on in. This is the ocean.
Anyway, I guess we're just kind of sharing what's on our heart, what we're walking with, or things like that.
Yes, and it's so. I don't know if you heard the 3 questions that Wadad had asked. So, but it's okay to share from your heart. Just we're kind of touching base with, to cheat, like how we find stillness and the support systems and those kind of things. But this is a place for you to find that as well. So if you need to, we kind of said the 3 things. If you need to empty the bucket and share what's on your heart, just let us know that. We'll hold the space for that. If you want to share, your tools and tips for finding the stillness, we'll hold space for that. And if you want to, some support and advice, we'll offer that as well. So you let us know if you want to start by emptying the bucket, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. I mean, there's so much that I do, and to support myself, and there's definitely a lot that I'm walking with, but currently, just today, what's showing up is, having a mother who lives in a completely different state, and for whatever reason, we haven't been able to be in the same state, and she's got full-blown dementia, and I had to move her into a much cheaper facility, and she has declined immensely since I moved her, and still trying to work it out so that we can be in the same state. And I'm just slowly watching her decline, and I'm just having to keep witnessing myself placing her in sources, higher power source, law, God, whatever you say, into the, heart and spirit of that. And it's a little challenging because I don't know if she's really safe in this new facility. And, and then there's, granted, I try to stay away from the whole media thing, but there is a lot of fear around what if, what happens when, Social Security and Medicare and all that stuff maybe gets taken away, and then how am I going to pay for her support? And I've taken care of her in the past, and it nearly destroyed me. So, granted, I'm much different now, and I've walked so much, further than where I was at that time. But these are just certain things that I'm sitting with, and today, right now. And so that's what do I do when SHIT is hitting the fan? There's a lot of things I do. For those who are on the same spiritual path, I have spiritual practices that I do, but I also can relate to the trauma work. I do somatic experiencing work. I do parts work. I do breath work. I do guided meditations, and then I have our Sufi practices that I do. I get healings. I am also in. I've just completed Landmark Forum. I'm in a healing intensive group. I'm in an advanced Sufi walking group. There's a lot of different things that I do, and sometimes I may be doing too much, and how do I just come back to center? Sometimes just closing my eyes and just placing my hand on my heart and just, really opening my heart and asking Source to kind of enter my heart, and just kind of grounding myself amongst all the insanity and chaos going on in our world, in ourselves. And, yes, sometimes I'm not grounded and I'm not in alignment with the higher source. And so I'm probably feeling the state of the world because I too am extremely sensitive and intuitive. And so sometimes I'm having a panic attack, and it might be, the world that's having a panic attack. And because I didn't do all the things to come back to center, I might be feeling all that. But anyway, that's what's going on for me currently.
Thank you for sharing your heart. Sounds like you do have a lot of tools. Yeah, really, it is what Dodd that said earlier about, just washing our hearts. And it's five times a day and then some, if not with every breath. I want to share some. I'm sorry. Let me before I share something, because you reminded me of something that I want to share, but I was check in with the others before. I don't want to cut short your acknowledgement and gratitude for sharing what you shared.
I would definitely like to just reflect to you, beloved Amina. I've known you for a long time, and I think many of us have walked with the journey of becoming caretakers for a family, or becoming, the ones that have the legal sort of decisions for that stuff. And I want to honor you in that. And know it is never easy, because what do they say? Like, you grieve things twice. So when a parent has dementia, sometimes you're grieving it 3 times. And just, I love and honor you for sticking to all the tools you can reach out for while you persevere through this time of, letting go and making tough decisions that a lot of us don't think we are ever really equipped to make. And sometimes we don't always know if it is the greatest decision, but we do our best. So I just, sending you my love and honor you for the station that you're walking through, and to just know that the circle is holding so much love for you.
Ditto that.
Yeah. And ditto that as well. Trido that.
And one other thing I want to share, actually, Mr. You go. There's just one other little piece that came up for me, but I want to let you complete what you were stepping into.
I mean, I'm also in the caretaker role as well, full-time caretaker role, and I can certainly, that's one of the things. My father does not have dementia. And that's one of the things when things get hard, because there's a lot of stuff even without the dementia, because his body can't quite keep up. And so there's a lot of treatments that we do in the morning and in the evening, and, like this constant care, right? It is a lot of caretaking, and, I have to put on the nurse hat. And, and as I've been here with him over the years, I've seen 3 of my aunts, 2 on my mother's side and 1 on my father's side, that had dementia and that went through it. And then I have another aunt right now who's in her 90s, and she's recently moved into a home, and she was in assisted living, and now she's moved into more of the, constant care side of it, and watching her kind of the same thing, just watching her fade. And there's really nothing you can do. And I'm just so grateful that I'm able to be with my father 24/7 and, be a part of that. It's, my heart goes out to the people who are dealing with that memory care and that side of things. And I tell you, I mean, it's one of the things that when things get hard, I remind myself, at least you don't have that, because, and I say that from a place of acknowledgement and compassionate. That is just not an easy thing. And so just know my heart goes out to you, and lots of love. Yeah. The other part that I wanted to share was about people dealing with trauma or that have dealt with trauma. And because things can get activated and triggered pretty easily as we're going through like what you were bringing up about spiraling, and I was speaking with someone just a week or so ago about, just some ways to when we feel ourselves spiraling or getting triggered and starting to like disconnect, and shallow breath and rapid breath, and, what are we going to do? The fear of what if, right? I mean, I have those same things. What if the Social Security check doesn't show up? What if, the Medicaid gets cut? What if, like those things? And it's just like, okay, you got it today, breathe. You got it today, breathe, and so, but one of the things that can help us, and if you do somatic experiencing, you probably know some of these too, but like when you catch yourself going into that place, to just take a full breath and look out the window and say, okay, or, something in your space, like have the things in your space that you are aware of ahead of time. Like Kelly shared that she, has that thing she says to herself. I can't remember exactly what it is, but that's something you say to yourself, something you can look at and remind yourself, I am here now and I'm okay. Or, like a stone or something that you can carry in your pocket that, maybe one with an inscription on it or something that says, love or whatever, safe, calm place. Yes. Thank you, Kelly. Safe, calm place, but just something that you can, it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to that place. And like, even if you're in the grocery store, you can reach into your pocket and feel that stone. And it reminds you, I am in a safe, calm place. Or you have something you say to yourself like that, that just reconnects you back to the present moment and reminds you that you are in a safe, calm place right now. So those are things that we can prepare ahead of time, so that as we sense ourselves getting disconnected or spiraling, that we can remember that, like, oh, there it is right there. That's the thing I'm going to look at. It's going to remind me I am here. I am here now. I got a roof over my head. I got, clean water and food and, and hopefully whatever it is that you have that you can be grateful for. Like, I am here now and I'm in a safe, calm place. I can return to that place. Yeah. The somatic reminders. So that was the piece I wanted to share.
Thank you so much.
Well, and along those lines, that actually is a piece of what I wanted to make sure that I mention, which is have recently gotten into learning about the vagal nerve and how many things it is connected with. And there are so many different ways that we can do vagal resets. So I fully encourage exploration, and that may be something that we play around with in future calls, to bring more of that in. Because it's really, for me, like just to be able to do this little massage that I do and a little bit of tapping, to bring that my vagal nerve into, because for me that physical agitation is sometimes part of that experience of what needs to calm. And so the release that I mentioned earlier is sometimes a big part of that, but also that resetting of the body can be very, very helpful. So just want to make sure I mention that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and remove you from the spotlight. I thank you very much. If there's anybody here that's like, feeling like you want to share or you want support, but you're not ready to come on screen, or and we are coming to the end of our time, so we'll want to wrap up. We have a link set up if you want to schedule a breakthrough session or a consult with one of us. We'll be happy to support you in what way we can, and just see if there might be some further work that we can do together. And you're welcome to that. Do you have that handy to put in the chat? If not, I can grab it.
I don't. I wasn't sure
Okay.
which
I'll do it. I have it right here.
I was muted, but I was going to say I can go grab it if you want to. If one of you is going to lead us in the closing, you got it.
No, you go ahead and lead us in the closing if you're okay with that. And are you okay to do that, Habiba? Yeah. And I just want to let you guys know too, like we're part of what got us to do these calls, these Wednesday calls, is that I've got a book coming out, and we're going to be launching the book and a program, a 12-week program. And the book was originally supposed to launch March 7th. And then it got pushed to April, and then it got pushed to May, and now it's been pushed to June. And so it's just like, so we decided, you know what, we can't I mean, there's so much going on right now that we don't want to wait until we got everything ready and we know what the dates are going to be and blah, blah, blah. So we just wanted to come here and just connect and start sharing some of the the support that we feel so moved to share, and just make the connections now, not to keep waiting. So just letting you know that I do have a book coming out. We do have a program that's going to launch, and you don't have to like commit to any of that to be a part of our Wednesday calls or anything. But I just want to let you know, if you do want to continue to join us on Wednesdays, please do. If you feel like you're looking for something that is more of a support structure that can like take you through a full-blown process of healing and really finding that place that you can live from, a place of stability and that inner strength and the divine power that you do embody, but really bringing that out to a place that you can live from it. We do have that coming. So just stay tuned with us on that. And if you're looking for that, we will not leave you high and dry. So thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. So as we draw our time to a close, I invite you to close your eyes if you choose. Take a deep breath. Bring it all the way down through your body, through your feet, into the earth. Settling into your alignment. Welcoming the treasures that came through for you this evening. Letting go whatever didn't fit. Feeling the gratitude for a safe space to be in our hearts, to be connected, and to be held in the light of what is true within each of us, and to the truth that holds us all, to the one light, source, energy, whatever you choose to call that, or however you relate to it. Taking another deep breath all the way in, all the way through. And letting your heart rest in the gratitude and in the love that is love, that is love, that is love. It's really all there is in the end. And allowing yourself to receive the wisdom, the love, the joy, the peace, and the knowing that we all have that place where we can rest, that place that nobody can take away from us. And the knowing that we have the support system to help us reconnect as needed. To remind us of what is true. And to join us as we choose. And so, in gratitude for these blessings, take one more deep breath all the way through. And may this beautiful energy carry you forth into the rest of your week. So be it.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. It's really beautiful.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Please reach out if you need more support. We're so grateful to share this space with you, and that you're vulnerable to share with us. But we know sometimes people are going through all kinds of things, and sometimes you just don't want to talk about it out loud in front of a group. So just reach out if you need anything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you know any other, if you have friends that want to join us next week, you're welcome to invite them as well. And we hope that you will come back next week as we continue to find ways to tap into our inner strength and inner power as we're going through who knows what. We don't know what tomorrow brings. But we know that the power within, so we talked about last week, the power within that no one can change except ourselves. And we can change it by recognizing it and bringing it forward, living it. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just going to give you all like a tiny bit of homework if you want it, is to find the perfect time for you to tap into any of these tools for stillness at least once this week. Try out something new if you want the homework. And then, if you come in next week, you can share in the chat, like, I tried journaling and it was awesome. Or I tried, dancing and it was disastrous.
Weird. But it made me smile.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Love and blessings to all of you.
Yes, blessings. And if you just know that we're like getting our system set up. So with that consult, the community for consciousliving.com/consult, you'll find all three of us there, and you can schedule a consult or a breakthrough session with any of us. There's when you get the email, the one thing we haven't worked out yet is that all of the emails will have my name on them, regardless of who you book with. But I mean, just the from name. So the email will be from me right now until we get that fixed. So if you think you're booking with Habiba and it comes to you from Deborah, then just know that you did book with Habiba, and it'll say that in the body of the email that your appointment is with Habiba. So just so that doesn't throw you off.
We'll get it worked out.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's a work in progress.
We just don't have our ducks in a row yet, and it's okay.
And some of them aren't even ducks.
Right.
Yes. Gaby, I love seeing your cat. Wish my cats are here, but they're not on screen in the moment, and they'd come say hi.
Well, he's my way to stillness.
Yes. Aren't they though? Hey, baby.
Point. And so funny. Like, I didn't realize that I didn't say that like, having a pet can be such a source of that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that purr vibration. Good vibrations.
Somebody also reminded me recently, because I don't have pets right now, and I probably won't get them again because I'm enjoying traveling and don't want to have to deal with all of that. But somebody reminded me recently of getting a teddy bear. And I was like, you know what? I had this teddy bear when I was going through the depths of therapy, which I won't go into, but it was like this full-size teddy bear that I could hug and hold. And it was wonderful. And I'm like, I might have to get myself a teddy bear.
Yeah.
I really might,
Yeah.
you know?
I was in a program, and at the end of the program, they gave a training program. At the end of the program, that one of the gifts they gave us was this teddy bear, and it is the softest. I have two great nephews who are, young, and they're both autistic, and they're both really like comforted by the textile. And this is the softest teddy bear.
Yeah.
And I keep it here for when they come over. And I guess if I was a good aunt, I'd give it to them. But I'd
You
love
might
to.
need it.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's like finding that I never realized before, how comforting it can be to just touch something soft and caress something or hold something soft. It's like, oh, that blanket,
Yeah.
the teddy
Well,
bear.
actually, I was telling the two of you earlier, but I've started going through my closet and getting rid of clothes and that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I'm realizing is I want to wear soft fabrics. I want to feel that cozy comfort and like not frumpy necessarily, but just that, just that softness. And I think it's a lot of it is the reflection of where I am in my life right now. Just
Yeah.
like but that same kind of thing, it's like, oh, those textures are just lovely.
I love that.
So if we can dress like we're in blankets all the time.
Yeah. And oh, shall I
I'm,
give away what we were talking about is dressing frumpy, feeling frumpy, looking frumpy versus dressing frumpy and, still like feeling,
I've found my
feeling
label.
your
My label
vibrant
is
self.
classy comfort is where I'm kind of going with that right now. So we'll see how
Yeah,
that
I love
goes.
that.
Yeah.
The journey of discovering who each and every one of us is and learning what works. I love that, I
Yeah.
love
We joke because like, when I come up here to do a video, I like brush my hair and I'll put on, not, I don't dress up, but I'll put on a shirt that's doesn't have t-shirt writing on it and holes in it. But my dad likes to, like at a certain time of day, he likes to go outside and tinker in his shop. And him tinkering in his shop is that he, makes his way there and gets to sit down, and he can kind of stand up and do a little bit of this and hold on, but he can't do a whole lot. So his tinkering means that either my sister or myself go out with him and we do what he wants to do while he points and tells us what to do. So we get all full of sawdust and grease and can we take this off here and oil that? And I'm like, no. Oh, but it's like when I come out of my room, literally, and we laugh about this because it's like we put on our dirty, holy clothes it's okay to get it dirty because we know that he's going to ask for something, and it's like, I come in here and I put on this shirt, and then before I walk out the door, I'm going to put in my holy raggedy stuff. And it's my sister and I were both talking about how we've just gotten accustomed to like, this is how we have to dress at home,
Just in case.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, like raggedy. And my dad, we went to Lowe's the other day. He likes to go to Lowe's and he can ride in the, cart and ride around and look at things because, he likes his guy things. And, well, let me just excuse me for calling that guy things, but it's, I think it's what he, identifies with, as what keeps him engaged. So, he, and I like the things too. I have to say I do. If I didn't have other things I needed to do, I'd be out there tinkering with him more. But he has this like he loves to wear his holy clothes. He has pants that have holes in the knees and his holy shirt. And he says, yeah, he says, if I go in there like this and I'm in my little cart and I got something, then somebody's going to pay for it for me because they're going to think I'm too poor. And I was like, okay, Dad, that's what we're going for here.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a joke, but I mean, it is a joke. He's always saying that, like, yeah, somebody'll buy this for me if I look all raggedy like this. So, you're funny.
Oh, so many blessings.
Yeah.
Thank you all again.
Yes. Thank you all.
Watch for the announcements, Facebook, emails for next Wednesday. We're debating between 3 topics, so we'll have to keep that secret until we let you know later this week.
So hopefully be like tomorrow or the next day. We won't hold out too long because we want you to get excited about it and about what you might want to share.
Don't hesitate to let us know if you have ideas of things that
Yeah.
you would like to explore on these too, because we're open to those suggestions. And yeah.
You know, something just came up in a conversation I had before this, and we were talking about the duality of the world and how we're trapped in that, in the sense that it's addictive and how we need to get out of that. So that might be a topic sometime down the line.
Thank you.
That, one of the topics that we were talking about is like really accessing the divine feminine. And the divine feminine is that place where we can hold the duality from a place of unity. And so maybe that's our next place to go with that. Because, yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Gabrielle. It's definitely same thing that's been on my heart. Like how, like part of tonight's class was like, how can we start entering that place where we are steady no matter what kind of duality or, intense turbulence, fighting, whatever.
Yes.
Because I think that the more of us, which the science is 3% of the world, if 3% of us are living from that higher vibration, the shift happens.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad you brought that up. It's definitely on my heart too.
My mantra right now is something somebody said to me, which was, if you can't handle the storm, just be the lighthouse.
I
love it.
I love that.
I love it.
Thank you. That. Thank you. All right. Well, I have not I'm going to end the recording. I haven't done that yet. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. See you next time.